This episode of
25.
the We Like Shooting Show is brought to you by Second Call Defense, Faxon Firearms, Black Rhino Concealment, Swamp Box Optics, Polymer 80, Franklin Armory, and Brownells. There.
Welcome to the We Like Shooting Show, episode 373. Our panel tonight is Jerambe Pozderac. We've got Savage 1R, Nick Lynch by my side. My name's Shawn Heron, and we want to welcome you to the show. All right. So, okay.
It's so weird without audio on our side.
I know. I can imagine.
It sounds so bad.
Okay, let's see. All right, there. Audio's dead. Okay, so listen, we're having massive freaking tech issues. I know YouTube, it sounds crappy. The normal show should sound just fine. If people are talking over audio files, it's because they can't hear them, but we can just fine, and we can hear them, so everything's going into the board. Man, I don't even know. I've been working on it for 40 minutes. We finally said, it, we're going to do it live. Aaron's up out this. Who knows what he's doing, but let's do an ad read.
Awkward silence.
No, there's no awkward silence. It was actually not silent at all. First up, I want to talk about Faxon Firearms. Am I talking too loud?
No, you're good.
Okay,
You're kind of loud for me.
yeah, it's kind of loud here.
It's horrible, but...
Right, but that's just because of my voice and the way I speak, not because...
And who you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I know. One more time. The audio is a little bit messed up for YouTube, but it'll be good for the podcast. And, yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, Faxon Firearms makes all kinds of stuff. Savage, tell me something they make.
They make a ton of really awesome barrels.
Nick, tell me something else they make.
They make really, really cool pistols.
Jerambe, tell me about a product that Faxon makes that you've used and that you like.
I have several of their barrels.
What about the actual firearms that you have or that you have sold from Faxon?
I've sold several of them. I don't know, but I really like their lightweight sub 5-pound rifle.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's actually the one that I built into a machine gun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I'll bet. No.
Do you have your regular BCG in there or a lightweight BCG?
I've just got the one. I think it's the Faxon light one.
Really?
I believe
That
so.
should
I'll have to double
be
check.
Interesting with the cyclic rate.
It is. It is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Yeah.
Oh.
For all the people about the sound, just download the podcast. This is a podcast. We just do video because sometimes it's fun. Tonight, not so much. But yeah, like we get maybe 1% of video views that we do audio downloads. So anyway, check out Faxon Firearms. Coupon code WLS10 will save you money. Go to faxonfirearms.com. I'm playing audio. Don't talk over it.
But are you?
But you just did.
This is just a fantastic time. So anyway, there's a couple things I wanted to talk about with you guys tonight. And the first one was NIJ specs and like Sammy specs. So there's a whole lot of marketing double talk, I think, that goes on these days. And it's kind of annoying because sometimes it can trip you up. So NIJ, they're like a government, and I want to be corrected here. They're a government organization that sets standards for bulletproof ratings, among other things. Like they do testing for and set specs and standards and
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, somebody save me, please.
Yeah.
So they do those things, and like SAMI is the organization, which I believe is industry held.
No, Sammy, Sporting Arms Ammo Manufacturing Institute. It's just all the ammo manufacturers got together and said, hey, let's standardize this so you don't make one thing that's completely different from a thing that I make.
Right. And then, so they have their testing system, and that testing, or they have tests, standardized tests. And then they can do those tests, and because they have put together these specs, those tests should be similar between different manufacturers and things like that, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, I guess let me start here. So sometimes that means that it becomes expensive. So it's expensive to get SAMI to approve your cartridge, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's expensive to get the NIJ to test your armor, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes companies, since they're published specs and standards and standardized testing, companies will be like, okay, well, we'll do our own NIJ tests, SAMI tests, whatever it is, and then we will say certified to NIJ standards. Not certified by NIJ, but certified to NIJ. And then they'll say, okay, well, we tested our stuff to the SAMI specs, and it passed. And then, but so it's not a SAMI cartridge, but it's tested and passed SAMI testing, right? Mm-hmm. We all on the same page?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's like manufactured. That's like made in China or assembled in USA from Chinese parts,
Right.
or vice versa.
Well, and that's exactly another thing that the firearms industry does a lot. That'll be like made in the U.S., and what that really means is just assembled in the U.S. from Chinese parts. Yeah, exactly. That's like exactly the same thing.
Well, a lot of that is 922R compliance. You know, a lot of those guns are shipped over here incomplete, and then 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 American parts are whatever. I forget what the number is, but a number of American parts are then added to it just to be able to import it.
Yeah, Century would know about that.
Yeah, so I guess my question is, why does it matter? If we have NIJ testing that is standardized and pretty much accepted, and if we have SAMI specs and ammunition is tested to those SAMI specs, then why does it matter if a company doesn't want to foot the $10,000, $15,000 bill to get their stuff NIJ certified or SAMI certified or anything else like that? Like, why does it matter so much? Because I see people just like losing their about
Tommy
it.
Boy.
Explain.
It's Tommy Boy. Well, I can get a good look at a T-bone by shoving my head up a butcher's ass, but I'd rather take the shove my head up a bull's ass, but I'd rather take the butcher's word for it. It's that kind of thing. It's the same reason people want government regulation. People want stuff to be.
But hey,
I mean, the FDA, the USDA, all those kind of government agencies, the ones that don't kill your dog. People are like, oh, I want an FDA. I want a USDA. Now, there's arguments for and against all of it, and that's something you can hash out. But to know that it is a SAMI cartridge, it gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling, doesn't it? All they're selling you is a guaranteed piece of it's Tommy Boy.
Go ahead.
I have a quick question. Wouldn't a T-bone from a bull be suboptimal? Wouldn't you want like a steer?
Well, it would be a little gamey because of the testosterone, but
right.
The point's there still is a T-bone in a bull.
I mean, sure.
There's a T-bone in a cow and a heifer too.
Right. I'm just saying I don't think I would want that one.
So let me play devil's advocate to my question. If a company says that they are certified to NIJ standards, and then they just lie about it, then doesn't that make us all less safe?
I mean, sure.
Yes, but that's the market.
I'd say a big difference too is that SAMI, as far as I'm aware, like if I want to open up Nick's Ammo Company and I want to sell 308, as far as I'm aware, I don't need to load up 308 and send it to SAMI. But if I want to develop a new, 308 Winchester, but if I want to create some new cartridge that's 7.62 Nictimus Prime or whatever,
that'd actually be awesome.
in order to get a SAMI approval on that, I would need to, work with them and send them information and samples and whatnot.
If you wanted the SAMI
SAMI
certification.
Right. So I, as a manufacturer, in the case of ammo, as far as I'm aware, wouldn't have to spend money to go get any sort of certification or whatever from SAMI if I just wanted to sell already existing SAMI ammo. And, of course, I can sell Wildcat stuff that I pull out of my ass. It just won't be SAMI certified.
Yeah, all your, name everything that's based off of a 30-06 case that's not a 30-06 case, or that's not a 30-06. They're all Wildcats. At least they were until they got a SAMI spec.
Yeah.
270 was a Wildcat cartridge till it got a SAMI spec. 243. Go down the list. Anything, the belted magnums, 300 Win Mags, and how many of those? God, how many different cases are there actually out there? A couple dozen? For the hundreds of kinds of ammo that there is, how many different actual, the cases are a little bit different, but they all have a parent case usually. There's 2 dozen out there? Maybe?
I got a business idea. We open up our own ammunition specification organization, and we charge everybody $50 to get their ammo certified.
Well, and honestly,
and then we take all that liability.
That's exactly what Sammy did, basically. I'm sure that Sammy has tons and tons and tons of disclaimers about how they're not responsible for anything that should happen, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, guaranteed.
That's the thing. Sammy is just a collection of the actual ammo manufacturers. The big ones, anyways.
It's a cartel.
Yeah, really.
Dude,
yes. It was the ammo manufacturers, the Sporting Arms Ammunition Manufacturing Institute. It's literally the ammunition manufacturers getting together and saying, all right, we got to hash this shit out so we know there's a standard so that my 9mm and your 9mm and your 9mm and your 9mm run everybody's guns. And then all the guns are engineered off of SAMI specs. So you could theoretically start making 308 that was way above or way below SAMI specs. It would just be stupid because you'd blow guns up because that's not how guns are engineered, or you'd be getting a bunch of squib loads or what people assumed were squib loads because it doesn't come out of the barrel any faster than 500 feet per second. So it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah. So there's a couple things here. So the biggest ammo companies started SAMI to spec everything out. Do you think that is anti-competition to price smaller companies out of the industry?
No, because they, in theory anyway, they shouldn't be doing anything with pricing of the actual ammunition itself. And there's nothing stopping someone from manufacturing and selling Wildcat ammunition or even ammunition that meets SAMI specs.
Okay, so
50 Beowulf.
Bad example. Let's say, NIJ's government. So let's see. Call sign Alley Cat in the chat said a couple things that totally agree with. Because if they expect me to use their product to protect myself, I want the company to believe in their product enough to spend that money. And don't take shortcuts and expect me to trust my life with it. I totally agree and understand. But what if you trust the company? And I'm not saying they're in their garage doing it. Specifically, I'm talking about Safe Life Defense, just because I've been reading up on this a lot lately and just trying to figure out. And I actually got fooled by some of the paperwork they send, which makes it really sound like they are NIJ certified. They even do it at a ballistic laboratory that's NIJ certified, but it's not NIJ certified. And apparently, as I understand it, once you get your NIJ certification, then come into your place of business and test stuff at random to the spec, and then and strip your certification if you should fail it. But yeah, as I understand now, Safe Life is not NIJ certified, but is certified to an abbreviated NIJ spec. And I'm just like, man, this is confusing. And look, what if we're talking about duty? What if we're talking about police officers? What if we're talking about military? Speaking of duty, what if we're talking about those things, right? I understand that we have a department. That department has standards that they want followed. They've got liability. But what about Joe, everyday dude? So, does he care as much as that? I don't know, man. It's like a big concern to me. Sorry.
What the hell is that?
It's the doorbell. Nick just walked out the front door. So I don't know where I stand on it, and I'm trying to find the right way. On the one hand, I understand if a company's trying to undercut their competition, so they don't want to spend the 10 or 15 grand or 20 grand or however much it costs to get NIJ certified, but they've tested their stuff. Is that good enough for the common everyday dude? Is it not good enough? I don't know. And I don't know where I stand. I wanted to get you guys' input. Jeremy, what do you think?
I think a lot of it goes down to independent testing. You have plenty of people on YouTube shooting ammo from, whether it's Katie, AR-500, Hoplite, blah, 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 blah. They can say, hey, it stops 308. And then you go look at some guess on the internet. Is it stopping 308? Sure is. Okay. Looks good to me.
Yeah. And let's see.
And like if there's enough of them where they're, hey, there's 50 people with hoplite armor and it's all stopping 308. It's like, I got a pretty good idea. I don't need like an independent lab that can be bought, much like, I'm literally watching them shoot it with a gun 308. Like, and unless everybody's down charging rounds to make it look good or perform better. And that's why I think like, disclosure of payments in videos and, a trust or rapport with, people that even listen to us.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
Whether it's us, Iraq Vet, Hickok 45, Real Dirty Harry, any of the guys on YouTube, TGC, everybody, all us and all of our friends, to be trusted means more in the fact that like, look, when we shot the KD armor, yes, I actually shot that with my hand-loaded 300 Win Mag and my hand-loaded rock chucker rounds, and it stopped both of them, and we were surprised. I don't need no independent lab to tell me anything more than that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, and that's a lot how I feel too. Someone, let's say, where is it? Duke of Crude said, would you be willing to drive a vehicle that kind of meets safety standards? Yes.
Oh, yeah, completely.
Because safety standards aren't that high.
Yeah, well, and they're kind of stupid. It's more about mileage and like, yeah. I honestly think there should be a, very inexpensive, like, I honestly think the safety standards and all this, the regulations on vehicles are so high. They've literally priced poor people out of reliable transportation. They like force you into public transportation. You could make a car for like $5,000. You really could. You could make a car that is reliable and runs for $5,000. It's not going to have, a great radio. It's not going to have. It's going to be.
It's not going to have power windows.
It's going to be a reliable Yugo is what it's going to be. It's going to be a little box with 4 tires, but it gets you to and from work every day, and it has heat, no air conditioning, and might not even have seatbelts, which I'm okay with as long as you sign the goddamn contract that says, I understand this car was manufactured with almost no safety precautions in it, but it's $5,000 and I am the master of my meat and not a meat puppet.
Conan M says there are plenty of brand new vehicles with a 1 or 2 star safety rating being sold on car lots right now. That's true.
And a show name, Master of My Meat.
Master of My Meat. I totally agree. Let's see. I'm writing that down. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. So I'm like, okay, so they don't want to spring for the NIJ certification and everything that comes along with that, which apparently means that they can walk into your place. I think I already said this, but just to repeat it, they can walk into your place, demand a plate to test, and if it fails, they strip your certification. But another thing is, what if they test it up front and then something changes? They get a different batch of metal, they change their process, and then suddenly their armor starts failing. Like, I mean, that's a concern. That's a huge concern I have. But, I mean, yes, NIJ certification and the threat of them coming in and taking it and their stuff failing. But, God, just imagine the news if, some dude gets in a situation and whether it's a home invasion or whatever, and his body armor fails and he dies. Like that's going to hit the news. That's going to become reasonably public. And I'm not trying to excuse this, or I'm just trying to come to an opinion on it for myself. And I agree. Call sign Alleycat says, but their steel plates aren't NIJ certified, but their ceramic stuff is for AR-500. That's sus. Somebody plays Among Us. How are half their plates NIJ rated and half aren't? The steel all have independent lab ratings and ceramic have NIJ. Like steel wouldn't pass? I mean, maybe. So what do you guys think about taking a look at the testing they've done, performing your own testing, and then making a choice based on that testing. Do you think that that's reasonable, and do you think that people should scream and act like little about it?
I think it can be reasonable. I mean, it's like, say if they wanted to be transparent, they would record all their testing of their armor, show when it works, when it fails, then people would have a pretty good idea about what to expect out of it. But if they're all like, oh, this is the best armor ever, and they totally fake all their and then somebody dies, well, I mean, that's on them. But I mean, that's where Sammy would come into play as being a more reliable source. So it just depends on who do you trust. Like, what's an established company that's going to, do the honest thing?
And I mean, AR500, like, they're a pretty well established and very well known company, but I would say that they take more on the internet than any other armor company I've seen. And I don't know that I've heard, and I'm sure that there probably are out there, but I don't know that I've heard much about their stuff failing. And even going further than that, like, I watched some of the videos for Safe Life, where they put balloons around everything and then shoot their plates, and there's no spalling whatsoever. But then I see people about spalling on Facebook and things like that. Alex R says, I don't want my tombstone to say, here lies a man that saved a few $100. Like, holy, I totally agree with that.
But there's so many people do.
I know.
Anybody that bought a Taurus or has ever said just as good. Like, I swear to God, if I get killed by a fucking Omni hybrid in the Boogaloo, I'm going to be so mad. As everything's fading to black and blood is dripping into my eyes, some tween twink comes over and he's like, just as good. And then like, I'm gonna kill myself again.
Trevor F said it would be interesting to see a crowdsourced version of trusted partners that could act as something like Sammy. And see, that's how you end up with Sammy. Like, right. So to me, less NIJ, because that's kind of federal. So they've done it for law enforcement and military and things like that. But at least Sammy, like, Sammy probably, my guess is profitable. And I'm just totally assuming that. My guess is that they make money doing that.
I don't think they do. I honestly don't think they make money with Sammy, or at least that much money with Sammy. I think what it is, I think it's honestly, it's what we all want. It's regulation done without the government. Remember, we constantly say, yes, I would love food to be regulated, but I think government is the worst possible vehicle to get that done. I would rather have an independent lab come up with we need an independent FDA, and I'd trust them 10 times more than I would the FDA. That's literally what Sammy is. Yeah, it might cost money to have them go through catalog, blah, 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 blah. But I don't think they're testing it like you think they're testing it. All they're doing is saying, okay, here's the minimum pressure, here's the maximum pressure, here's all the fucking dimensions. That's it. That's literally what they're just cataloging it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. I know what Sammy does and what they are. A few years ago, there was some people who considered themselves some of the finest firearms instructors in the industry, and they tried to put something like Sammy in place for firearms training. And I'm like, well, that's literally exactly what the NRA did, right? The NRA created Basic Pistol and that certification.
Yeah, but the NRA did it in 1864.
No, I totally agree, and it's totally awful. And I've seen more NRA instructors. In fact, there's just I know several people just running mills that put out the worst instructors I've ever seen. And so it means nothing, but states have adopted it as
that's because states adopted NRA instructors as CCW instructors.
Right, but they just did exactly what Savage said, and they said, okay, we're going to certify these things to our tests, and like Colorado, you have to have training. Doesn't say how much, doesn't say what the training needs to be, but it does say an approved curriculum. And the approved curriculum is NRA Basic Pistol. And that's the weird thing the thing that I kind of, I don't know, that I question. And again, like, I'm not saying that NIJ certification.
I think your problem is with government and people just taking advantage of poorly worded laws. Same with, it's the same reason college got expensive. Hey, government guaranteed loans, jack prices up. Hey, everybody has to get health care now, or they're going to get fined. Jack the prices up.
Well, that's not the case.
I think What?
They ruled out. They got rid of the individual mandate.
I'm aware of that, but I'm saying the prices went up because of that, because you're forced to buy it. That's going to drive me insane.
Oh my god,
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, because normally our noise gates get rid of it, but since the stupid mic is just open and we're using the webcam mic.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, hey, I think your problem is with bad government intervention, not necessarily like it was government wording and laws that cause people to take advantage of the stupidly worded laws. I think that's where your problem is.
Yeah, maybe. So, Jeremy, what would it take for you to wear plates from a company? NIJ, your own testing, what people tell you?
I mean, I'll probably buy an extra plate and shoot them myself.
Okay, that sounds fair. And with
unless somebody that I trust has said, yeah, no, I have shot them with especially if they have a video on the internet and they're like, yeah, no, totally shot that with a 300 Win Mag, did not go through, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy that.
But what if a company works with a marketing agency that has influencers that work with the marketing agency?
Somebody I trust.
Okay. But there's people that you trust that do those things.
I'm aware of that. Some of them I trust, and some of them I don't trust farther than I can throw them. I might be friends with them, but I don't trust what they say in their videos.
Okay, so then do we need to start an organization that basically NIJ and Sammy rates content creators as to how trustful and how trustworthy they are?
I don't think we need to. I think we could if we wanted to, but I don't think it needs to happen. I think that's up to people. Like, I'm okay with people buying into like, you do you, boo-boo. I don't give a like, if you get smoke checked in the boogaloo, like, that's on you.
Nick, armor that you would wear in the boog, what do you trust? What do you buy? Do you trust people that do their own testing? Does it have to be NIJ certified?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about armor. I know very little, and I don't think that I'm educated enough to really know for sure.
You have armor.
I do have armor. I knew even less about armor when I got that, and it was given to me.
So my question is, the boog kicks off, or you hear people shooting out in the courtyard of your complex.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight, you throwing that armor on?
Probably not. Well, no, because I don't have a carrier. I just have plates.
You going to have Tyler duct tape it to your chest?
No. And even if
be cooler if you did.
Even if I still did have a carrier, I probably still wouldn't throw the armor on. I'd probably get whatever I absolutely needed and leave if I needed to. But
what'd you say, Jeremy?
I said ceramic tile and a phone book.
Okay, so we actually did test that. We've got a video out on YouTube. We did that like years and years and years ago. It was surprisingly effective.
Yeah, I mean, it's the exact same. It's the exact same thing that body armor does.
Yeah,
it's
French bread.
Tile. What's that?
French bread. Yeah, surprisingly.
We stopped 9mm with French bread.
Yeah, and 22 and a few.
Wasn't like four loads of French bread it went through, or three?
22 went through like a couple inches of French bread.
Yep.
It was like 2 or 3. Yeah.
I tasted the French bread.
Yeah, you did. Actually, Aaron put the bullet in his mouth and didn't even realize it.
I remember that.
Still to this day, I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not either. I was about to say. I'm just so skeptical.
I know, me too.
I mean, well, we were talking about Sammy earlier, and I was trying to research something. I don't know if 50 Beowulf has Sammy specs. I don't think it does.
I don't know.
I don't know that it does either.
I don't think that it does because Alexander Arms is kind of being real about trying to keep control of that. So people have reverse engineered the 12.7 by 42 or whatever. But I don't think, because like you have to divulge that information, all the case dimensions and everything. When you get Sammy specs, like here's the specs of the cartridge,
right?
And then a bunch of other people are going to start making it now because they have the pressure specs and blah 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 blah. So,
well, all I know is I'm buying my shit off of Wish.com and running in there like Leroy Jenkins.
All right, that sounds fair.
I'm going to be I'm going to be greased up, high on cocaine with that kukri.
Nice. So someone mentioned in the chat earlier that Mr. Guns and Gear did a test of LA police gear that was not NIJ certified and that it handled everything that he threw at it. And like yeah, when I look at content creators, like I definitely trust Mr. Guns and Gear. Like if he tests something and says it, like I'm like, yep, I would buy that.
Oh, but don't tell Yankee Marshall.
Yeah, I don't really care. When Yankee Marshall starts shooting guns, then I'll have more consideration for his opinion.
But like, yeah, if I thought somebody was sus, and because we're gonna use that word now,
we got to play that. We seriously have to play that.
If I think somebody's sus, like I'm not gonna take their word on anything, and I don't listen to most people's opinion anyway.
Yeah. So we got stuff in from Safe Life. We're gonna shoot that. We got stuff in from who's the other soft armor company? We have Safe Life and
Safe Life Repair.
Right. That's what I always think of too.
Safe Life and God, now I'm drawing a blank on that. They do the soft armor.
Spartan or
no? Yeah. Anyway, we got that in. We got some AR-500 in. We're gonna shoot it. I agree that it shouldn't be Master of My Meat. It should be Sus as the show title.
I think that'd have to be the one where we actually play Among Us.
Well, I don't think we're going to play it on the show because
we could have an episode where we just play Among Us.
With all these god tech issues, I don't even think we could run that game.
Plus, it's a pretty visual game, isn't it?
I don't know. I've only seen like memes.
Yeah. You could share a screen, I think, right?
Yeah, I can.
There you go.
I mean, well, maybe. I do have an entire new audio system that I bought about 2 months ago for the show. Like
that isn't working.
No. It's brand new. It's sitting on top of the safe right there. I'm looking at it.
Oh,
I've just never set it up yet.
Gotcha.
Nick F says, didn't WLS shoot Katie Army? Yes, we did. We shot the shit out of it.
I literally shot it with a 300 Win Mag and a rock chucker, and it did not go through.
What'd you say, Nick?
Remember, 5-6 years ago, we played Cards Against Humanity.
Did we?
Yeah, we should do that again. Yeah, it was all online, so it was like a digital version of Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, wow.
We should do that again, and that would work on an audio format.
Statler says, "What about Hesco? I've heard good things. Have no idea if they're in NIJ or not." I think I'm still as undecided as I was before the show, but I think it's a good thing to think about, and I think if I was like a cop or military, I would probably feel a different way about it. But then I'm like, well, that's just being stupid, because if you would feel like your life is important there, why wouldn't you feel like your life is important outside of there?
Yeah.
So are you going to wear plate armor everywhere?
Yes.
I might.
I just, I don't know. Armor, there have been a few times where I've been like, all right, I'm going to learn about this. And then everybody's just so incredibly opinionated, and like everybody's a zealot. So every time I start to research it, I'm like, well, there's not really anybody here who's like, well, here's the thing. It's not that great, but it'll kind of do in a pinch. Everybody's like, it's total shit. Or everybody's like, it's perfect and amazing. And it seems like it's hard to find.
It'll weigh you down, slow you down. I'm just going to go in naked.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If I shoot the Safe Life Defense armor and I test the shit out of it and I feel comfortable with it and I wear it, people on the internet are going to be like, oh, look at this poor. I'm like, this costs like 5 times what a couple Hesco plates or even like any of that costs. And I'm not saying that makes it better. I'm just saying, like, people are stupid.
And the poor thing, like, I get that it's a funny joke or whatever, but it also kind of annoys me.
It annoys me too.
Because there are things out there where, like, this is less expensive, but it is, of course, just as good. It's just as good. But it's, it works well enough. It functions fine. Like, sometimes it's okay to save a little bit of money. You don't always have to buy the most expensive thing.
Yeah. No, you're right. Mullah Omar says, where are they reading the comments from? Matt Salmon says, I don't know. I'd like to figure out so they can read mine. LMAO, probably YouTube. Both. You're both on Facebook. I just read both your comments. That's where we read them from. Mitch B says, what will the plates that come with the Hackett? I don't know. Says on the website level 3 plus. We got mine today and only says level 3 on the back. Pretty thin too. I don't know. You should definitely check with them. Let's see. So yeah, I think that'll cover it. I'm going to play an audio file, guys. 1 second.
Awkward silence.
It's not silent. All right. So Swamp Fox Optics. Someone was asking questions about the Sentinel today. Have you guys heard of that?
The Sentinel?
Yeah.
Heard of it? Yes. Seen it?
Yeah.
No.
You've heard of it, Nick?
Yeah. I said yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just said yeah.
Sorry, I was listening to Savage, and then I got confused, and then a little bit sweaty. But I'm okay now.
Why are you sweaty?
I don't know. Why are you sweaty?
I'm not sweaty. You're sweaty.
The Sentinel is $299 minus our discount. They've got two different variants. They've got auto brightness and always on, and they've got manual brightness and shake and wake. I think mine is auto brightness always on, and it'll give you a couple years of battery life out of it. Small, strong, SMOL, small. And God, I think he was talking about putting it on a 48. I have mine on a SIG P365. It fits the RMSC cut. So if you're looking for a carry gun optic that fits the RMSC cut, which is a lot of them, the Canic subcompact, the P365,
Hellcat,
all those.
The 48 MOS is a RMSC cut, and the if you have a standard 48, this is wide enough that it'll fit relatively flush if you get your slide cut.
Yep. So definitely, if you're looking for an optic, go check that one out. Going to be about $250 after the discount. So swampfoxoptics.com, coupon code WLS is life is how you can save that money. And check it out if that's something that you're interested in. We'll talk about more next week. You guys are just sitting there. I can tell you're confused because it was just silent. Let's see. Someone said, wait, where's Aaron? Someone said he's out protesting ACB. Oh, Amy Coney Bear. Guaranteed to be a good show. I'm scared. Technology is frightening. Sucks to be needs to be a viable ringtone. What does? I can't keep up with the chat sometimes. Anyway, where are we? Oh, I know.
You want to hear something fun?
Yeah.
So, in preparation for the upcoming election, and just because I can, I ordered 10 full auto trigger packs for NAR.
Nice.
You told us this last week, Jeremy.
Yeah, but I got them in today.
That's awesome.
And my Brownells BRN 10 came in on Saturday.
Oh,
so tomorrow when my Smith gets in, the first thing he's doing is machining out that goddamn lower. And making me a full auto 308 Brownells BRN 10.
That sounds really expensive.
It's going to make me money, so
it does. That is pretty awesome. This is Gear Chat, and
I was going to say, you think that sounds expensive? Wait till you should see I bought 1,000 links for a 240. 1,000 links. They're all linked up in one belt.
Wow.
You should make your employees reload the belts by hand.
One guy did. One kid that works for me, Marco. His name's Marco. He literally sat there for 3 days like a god squirrel, just belt and ammo all god.
Were his fingers sore after that?
No, and I even bought a fucking linking machine. Does 20 at a pop. All you chunk.
And he's not using it?
And no, he had all 1,000 of them linked up before the machine got there. I'm like,
sucks.
Dude, just wait. It's on its way.
Yeah.
And he's like, I like this. Okay, bro.
Wait, did you pay him?
Yeah, I was like, was he on the clock? That.
Yeah, so you paid him like 3 times what the linking machine probably cost?
Yeah. And sweep or something. Get your ass busy.
I mean, he was doing other shit, but like if there was nothing going on, he was linking ammo.
All right, well, good for him. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Nick and I are both eating pumpkin spice cupcakes thanks to the Candyman.
Oh, they're so good.
Jeremy, tell us about what you bought.
The kukri?
Yeah.
I bought a kukri.
That's awesome.
I bought a kukri knife from GK & Co.
What is it?
It's a kukri.
What's a kukri for those that don't know?
Kukri is a knife that is made in Nepal, that area.
Viva Nepal!
Yeah. Typically carried by Gurkhas and that culture.
Gurkha.
Yeah, Gurkha. Which
When you're-
surprisingly does not like the other.
When you're in your gherkin?
No, gherkin is a small pickle.
What if you're in your gherkin and you have a merkin?
What about if your schmeckel gets caught with the
That wasn't that.
Rhyme.
What's a
Yeah.
I thought we were just making them nonsense phrases.
Oh,
No.
we could do smirking. You know,
I was like, nothing rhymes with click, click.
lurking.
Holy
Actually, it made me think of something funny I saw on Facebook today. It was like, if I'm ever eaten by a mountain lion, just know that my last words were. It's just a really big kitty. Ah!
Now, are you going to put the kukri on your plate carrier or what?
I kind of want to send it to Gino and be like, make me a poly accessible pouch for this.
And I think you only paid like $70 for it or something like that.
It was only like $70. Yeah, and
Really reasonable, honestly.
yeah, it was. And I did a bunch of research, and they said there were a couple of there's like 5 companies, and they were kind of pretty good to go, and GK and Co was one of them. So I was like, all right, it's only $70. Like I thought it'd be like I was willing to spend like $300-$400 on a knife. Like I figure it's a big hunk of steel if it's handmade, And they're like, yeah, it's handmade in Nepal by people that just make kukris for a living. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah. Well,
I guess $70 in Nepal goes a long way.
Well,
Yes.
the components are made in China, but it's assembled in Nepal.
I mean, I assume that it's just like an old truck spring, and they just hammered it into a fucking knife.
Dude, yeah. I wonder if Noble Knife Designs makes kukris.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I kind of want one.
But we had an old 4x4 post in the back in the shop, and we set it up on a pedestal, and we split that like a piece of cordwood.
Really?
Like right now. Dude, that thing is almost like that thing is probably like 5/16 wide on the back of it.
And it's Irish Spring, by the way, the bar soap.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the spring that Jeremy's knife is made out of.
So, someone
It's an
said,
Irish spring, not a truck spring.
is Jeremy's boot plan just coke and melee weapons? Yeah, cocaine and kukris.
Yeah.
You should wear it on your back like a Nepalese ninja.
Oh no, I got a shotgun back there.
Well, put that. Get rid of that. Wear the kukri instead.
Put the shotgun on your helmet.
Yeah.
But I want a kukri and a tomahawk.
So I do have a tomahawk on my battle belt because I'm a freaking loser. And yes. Look, I'm not even ashamed of it.
No, I
don't
just
care.
really like how you introduced that.
because I'm a loser.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want a kukri. Yeah, $70. That's not bad at all. I always assumed it would be so much more. I don't know.
But you know what I really want? You know what I think would really be cool? Like hatchet or tomahawk sized, but a double-headed axe, like like a lumberjack would carry in olden times. But like, I want a small one so I can like throw it, and I can also hack people with it. Like, I just feel like that'd be fun.
All right.
I want one of those hatchets that's actually or a tomahawk that's actually a pipe.
A pipe?
Yeah.
Like a peace pipe?
Yeah, you guys have seen those.
Like an old piece, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I want one of those.
I'm in. So in the night of Shawn doubting all of his choices concerning gear coming up to this, I've started thinking, are these Baofangs going to be good in like it hits the fan scenario? Like
The Baofeng radios?
yeah, like is that going to be fine? Like just going GMRS, just like being open on the airwaves, just coordinating with your bros to get to safety and things like that.
Don't leave them open.
Well, that is not a thing you can do
Why not?
because it's GMRS. It's like public waves, public space.
Okay, but there's how many frequencies on those god things that you can't. No, They have more than GMRS. They have what's the other frequency?
Ham. They're all open. There's no.
As far as I was aware, you were able to on the one model Baofeng, you can what's it called? I
don't know.
Encrypt it.
I am not aware that you can do that.
I believe on the one model it does have encrypt. Like you have to program it. Like you have to program it off of a computer and have it preset up. But as far as I was aware, you could do that.
Where I am, I am under the understanding that you cannot do that.
Oh,
but I mean, yeah. So you're open. You leave the channels open. Like, is that acceptable? And then you just, I don't know. So I've got laminated cards and stuff for all my family unit, where there's like plans on how to, based on different things on what channels to use and how to change them. But I don't know. Like, is that enough? Is that might not be enough? Like, and if that's not enough, then what is the answer? Because I still haven't got my ham radio license. I kind of still need to do that. But at the same time, like, do you really care about licenses if the shit has hit the fan?
No, I don't give a
So really, then what I care about is security, right? Like, that's what I care about. And then I'm like, okay, well, what's the option there? And what radio do you get that has, I don't know, good signal that's secure and encrypted? And like, yeah, I don't know, man. So I would like our listeners to tell me the right answer here, and just send an email to automated@welikeshooting.com, and we'll cover this stuff on Double Tap.
I mean, it depends on what you're doing with it, though, right?
Coordinating survival.
Yeah, like if you're just trying to get a hold of your family members and be like, hey, let's meet up in the place. Like, maybe don't be like, hey, let's meet up at 123 Sycamore Drive.
And that would be it. But also don't forget that they can triangulate you off of ham radio frequencies.
Then don't use it a bunch. I don't know.
Well, no, I'm just thinking about it. Like, okay, so something goes down, and we'll say protesters like take over and pull a coup in Colorado Springs mayor office or whatever, and then
do you think protesters are going to have the technological know-how to triangulate your hammer?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're worried about triangulation, then
they're backed by the North Koreans.
Then yeah, you probably want to go with something else. But I mean, if you're just worried about like there's a situation where we need to get out of town or get out, evacuate the area for some reason, then yeah, I would think it would be fine. If you're trying to like coordinate ambushes or something, or
well, yeah, we'll say Wolverine protocols.
Well, then yeah, I don't think you want open, easy to track stuff.
I know, but okay, so now let's be realistic. Mm-hmm. Like the really commercial grade Motorola that Team Ghost Company Hazard said, those are f***ing expensive. Mm-hmm. So you want to be prepared should the day come, but you also don't want to spend as much on radios as you would a car, right?
Right, but let's also be realistic here. You're probably never, even with the way things are going, and even with the way that we all talk, like we're probably never going to need any kind of fancy encrypted comms. Like, totally realistically, if you ever use these, it's going to be like, the town is flood. I don't know. It's not going to flood, but like something has happened. There's a natural disaster, and you need to leave town.
I'll be like, Nick, meet me at the location of our first date.
Yeah.
Where would that be?
I don't know.
Me either.
I mean, in theory, the weather could turn so bad that it takes out the phones.
Yeah,
sure, but you don't need to worry about somebody listening into you or triangulating your position with something like that.
It's just all of the above, right? Like I'm not thinking about any specific situation. I'm just like, well, if bad things should happen, like I would like to be prepared for that. And at first I was like, okay, so I've got like 8 or 10 Baofeng radios, and they're all charged, ready, programmed, everything, with plans to change. But then again, I'm just like, maybe that's not good enough. Yes, the chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. Thank you, guys.
I don't know, man. I think I've got a lot of stuff to worry about before I start worrying about that.
Yeah, because I threw my radio on my plate carrier and I ordered all the cables I needed to plug it into my Hearing Pro on my Ballistic helmet and my night vision. And then I was like, is this good enough? I don't know.
Go watch that T-Rex Arms video.
God, I need to talk to Glenn Tate.
I sent you that and you were like, this is
Oh,
why
no.
would I watch this?
I watched the whole thing twice. It's
Yeah.
actually a really good video.
Now you've come around.
Yeah, it's a really good video.
It is a pretty cool
and
video.
I really don't like T-Rex arms at all.
I don't either. That's like the only video of theirs I think I've seen. And I've watched it a couple of times. I understand like 10% of it, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I had a local guy who programs Baofengs, but then I was like, I don't trust someone I don't know. I was like, he's going to do some that he's going to program my channels to be the channels he watches so he can steal my.
Was that the Facebook guy?
Yeah. So I decided not to do that, and I'm like, I could download Chirp and buy a cable and program them all myself, but man, I don't know.
Bye, Jeremy.
Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Nick, what do you want to talk about?
So for Gear Chat, I wanted to talk about, because of the upcoming election, Jeremy bought 10 full auto trigger packs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about that.
Oh, good. So second flex.
No, there's a new P320. Have you guys seen this? It's kind of neat.
I kind of want it.
I kind of do too, actually. MSRP on this is $9.99, I believe.
At least it's not overpriced.
It's the P320 AXG Scorpion. So what's different about this versus all of the other P320s is that this has I believe it's an aluminum frame.
It's an alloy. It's aluminum alloy.
Yeah, and then it's got G10 grip panels that are replaceable. So the frame looks an awful lot like a traditional like 226 or 229 frame. It's, kind of a cool idea, aluminum.
Oh, look, it's Phil Strader from SIG, the guy who will reply to every gun bunny that emails him but won't reply to other people.
I want to... I want every manufacturer to do this.
It's pretty.
I think it's cool. It looks great. It's a cool idea. Let's see, wasn't it also SIG that did the tungsten powder frame, right? That's really heavy, or was that
the 320 X5 Legion.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's the one we had here. That St. Michael Concepts.
That one wasn't tungsten.
Oh, it wasn't.
No, because the tungsten's like super heavy.
Polymer with tungsten, and it's like it's weighty.
Yeah,
they're really nice.
It's heavier than
they
steel.
Shoot really well.
Let's see. Walther put out a steel framed PPQ. There have been manufacturers that have made aluminum Glock frames.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought this was kind of cool. It's not something you see as commonly. This still is compatible with all the SIG stuff. So I don't think they're selling just the frame right now. And I believe this is limited edition. But if you buy one of these, as far as I can tell, you should be able to drop any compatible slide or trigger group or whatever in there.
Okay, I'm sold.
I want every polymer frame gun that I have. I want this to be an option. Like I want my FNX 45 tactical with an alloy frame.
No, I actually support that. Just the X5 Legion that we did have, it was a metal frame.
Was it?
Yeah, it was metal.
Huh.
100% positive.
The tungsten one isn't like metal.
90s. It sounds like we're going back to 80s and 90s like era gun designs. Like, okay, everybody had an alloy frame and a steel slide. So it's like,
it's just a lot. There's you want to make fun of 1911s all day long as being like boomer FUD guns, but there's a very big difference in pistol whipping somebody with a plastic frame versus a solid chunk of steel.
So for Jeremy, the difference is pistol whipping applicability.
There you go. This is peak 2020 technology from 1983.
Yeah, that trigger guard will cause a depressed skull fracture. Not my XD trigger guard. It'll just break.
No, it'll just cause someone to become depressed. When you pull out your XD, they'll be like, "Oh man, I thought Jeremy was cool." If Jeremy's not cool, then why am I even trying? and then they'll be depressed.
Oh my God, BMX bikes! I had a BMX bike. Yes, I remember that ADV, Aaron.
So did I.
But yeah, I thought this was pretty cool. Oh no, I was wrong. It's not aluminum. It's carbon. Or wait,
Alloy.
no, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
It's alloy.
Yeah, it does say alloy, so it's some sort of aluminum. Sorry, I saw carbon steel and got excited, and then saw that it was the barrel material.
Cray. Let's see. Savage 1R, what do you want to talk about?
Oh my gosh, it's my turn. So I saw this thing the other day, and I'm half for it, half against it, but the way they sell it, I'm kind of for it. So this is the Vera Safety Reach 2 Biometric Gun Lock. So this is a right-hand mounted gun lock that you basically screw into some piece of furniture, like a side table or something like that to your bed, and it has either a biometric safety, which here in TTAG they did quite a lot of testing on it, with having like partial obscurity of the finger, having it with like powder, having it be wet, and it seemingly did a fairly okay job of detecting the thumbprint. Or you can switch that out for an actual key lock. So you can have a traditional key lock that will unload or unlock the holster and allow you to retract your firearm from it. So because it does that, and it also has an RFID unlock as well. The RFID kit, I guess, is an extra $19.99. You can have like a bracelet or some kind of key fob that'll allow you to unlock this thing. And the battery life, I believe, is somewhere in the realm of, God, where is that? Well, it has a decently long battery life, and it actually, the holster plugs into a wall outlet, so it has a battery on it, I believe, and then you can charge it as well. You can have it plugged into a charger. So a couple different options there. So you can either have it electronically released or manually released for the key, or the key fob / RFID setup, and it can withstand up to 200 pounds of force. And they have a video in there of this pretty hefty dude trying to yank it off of this chest of drawers, and he's not able to pull it out of there.
His name's Rico.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, and he was dripping sweat by the end.
Yeah. So, not a terrible idea. I like the fact that it has the analog standard option in there as well as the modern one. That's ultimately what we want to have. We want to have backups so that no matter what, there's always an option for the owner to be able to get into there. So I think it's not a terrible option if you want to do some kind of, pistol holster safe that is easily accessible by the side of your bed.
They're at 387.6 pounds pulling this thing.
I think he's actually bending the frame of that 1911, honestly.
Yeah, wow. I'd be down to carry this every day.
Carry it every day?
Yeah, I'd put it on my belt.
Carry?
Okay.
Yeah. Don't judge me.
All these people with their fancy level 3 holsters, you're going to have like a level 6.
Yeah, they're living in 2020. I'm living in
level 75.
4020, yeah. My question is this: how much is it? $274.99 is the answer.
Yes, $274.99 plus $19.99 if you want the RFID kit, and the additional holsters for different models of guns are $25 a pop.
This is interesting. This is like, I don't know, for parents.
This is why I don't have kids. This is what I was thinking this entire thing. This entire time. Like, it's cool, but I don't have to worry about it because I don't have kids.
Right, and if you pull this, God, right as I was about to make a funny joke, someone put it in the chat. I was like, and if you actually get it out, you're the king of England. But yeah, if you have kids and like your nightstand gun, this could be there. That eliminates something there. Like I don't need it. I just put my gun on my nightstand. But this is interesting. There's points of failure, but there's also security. Like I don't want this, but I can understand why people would. Like you guys said,
it's an option. It's not perfect by any means, but it is an option for a certain subset of people.
And it looks tough that freaking Silverback couldn't bust it off of there.
Yeah,
Silverback.
No, like that dude.
He's huge.
Yeah. So there's, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Like there are those dudes, and whenever I see them, they're always like riggers or something. Like they lift heavy things for a living.
Excuse me, what'd you say?
Riggers.
Oh.
But like I've known a few guys who looked like you could throw fur on them and they'd be a gorilla, you know?
No doubt. All right, let's see.
What you gonna do now? Talk about lifestyles. Oh yeah. What you gonna do now? Talk about lifestyles. Brought to you by Brownells.
Hey, look, if you're out there buying stuff, go check out Brownells, brownells.com. You can find them at welikeshooting.com/sponsors and click on Brownells, and that'll take you to the page that has the daily discounts and all that good stuff. So definitely go check them out. Oh, yeah. The live audience can't hear the music either.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was just going like, oh, yeah, or whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
Listen to the podcast. I promise. This will be fixed by Wednesday. Anyway, Brownells.com or welikeshooting.com/sponsors. Click on Brownells. And when you buy, you could buy anything. You could buy guns. You could buy
Anything?
some calibers of ammo.
Do they have cotton candy?
No. Anything gun related.
I feel so lied to right now.
I am so sorry. Anyway, Nick, you had an interesting thing to talk about.
Sure.
Okay, what is it?
So the headline from this article is muzzle position can have major impact on your shooting decisions. So this organization did a study that a decent number of people, they were all law enforcement, anywhere from 1 year of experience to 36 years of experience. So, big variance in level of experience there. They had 313 officers from 23 state, municipal, county, and county agencies. Excuse me.
And just to give credence to the report, it was researched by Dr. Paul Taylor, former officer who's now assistant professor of criminal justice at the University of Colorado, Denver.
Thank you. So basically what they did is they set up a scenario where an officer would get a dispatch report saying that someone was seen trespassing around a house and it appeared that they had a firearm. Then they'd be put into a like a video simulation thing, where you have the video screen, and they would approach this person from the back. They would issue some commands. The person would turn around and pull their right hand out of their pocket and thrust their hand towards the officer. Part of the time it was a firearm. Part of the time it was a cell phone, and it was randomly selected which it was gonna be. And they tested the officers from 3 different positions. So the first position was with the firearm extended, aiming at the suspect. Then they had high ready and low ready. And it's pretty interesting. What they found is that when the officer had the gun pointed at the suspect, when he turned around and pulled his hand out, it doesn't report the specific number in this article. They say that it was more than 50% failure rate with shooting with the cell phone.
Oof.
Now with the firearm from low ready, that dropped down to 30%, which the article says is less than half. So we're looking at more than 50% of the time shooting the dude with the cell phone when they're pointing the firearm at him, and then 30% when they're at low ready, which is pretty impressive, right?
Yeah.
And it makes sense because that the argument that I see here is that extra time that it takes for them to bring the firearm up and get ready to shoot gives them enough time to identify the cell phone versus the firearm. What makes this interesting though is that, as the article says, the average cost of going from low ready instead of being extended out or being at high ready is 11/100ths of a second.
Yeah, so they went from 0.51 to 0.62.
Yeah, for the reaction time. So 11 100ths of a second to go from low ready to extended, or to firing. And that 11 100ths of a second is enough to, in this, it suggests anyway, that it's enough to tell the difference between a cell phone and a firearm. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's worth losing that 11 100ths of a second in a situation like this?
But so what was their success percentage when they were from low ready?
Their failure rate was 30%, so their success would be 100.
And it was
70.
And it was 50, right?
It was more than 50.
More than 50.
They said they didn't say specifically what the failure rate was when they were punched out with the firearm pointed. They said it was more than 50, but then they also say that 30% was less than half, or was more than half. A 50% reduction. So the failure rate with the firearm extended was 60-something%.
I mean, it's kind of remarkable.
That's rough.
I don't call that failure.
You don't call shooting an unarmed man a failure?
Oh my! It's not on. I mean, if you got your arms in, if you got your hands in your pockets, and you thrust something towards me, and I shoot you, you. I don't care. That was stupid. I'm glad you're dead.
Sure, that's stupid, but if the study is telling you identify if this is a threat or not, and then act accordingly.
Well, wait. If common sense, every bit of instruction, anything else is identify your target, identify a threat, and then when you can reasonably articulate immediate, unavoidable death or serious bodily harm, then take the shot. Like, yeah, what they did is stupid, but God, that's like that's a very small amount of time, 0.11. I'm sorry, 11 100ths. And what 40% increase in success in identifying and engaging a target?
30%, yeah.
God, it's interesting. Like, Jeremy, I mean, you're right. It's dumb, but this is that extra amount of time, which is negligible when you think about it. But I guess the question is
40% increase in death to the cop.
And I guess that's the question: is what?
Also, according to this article, that 11 100ths of a second is less than half the average time it takes to pull the trigger. So if you're already ready and you know your finger's off the trigger, they're saying it's going to take you, on average, at least what they found with these officers in this study, 22 100ths of a second to bring your finger down, put it on the trigger, and pull the trigger.
That's on average, and if 5 cops get killed because of this, because perps want to do stupid, like, I'm not okay with it.
And okay, so you're saying if this saves one officer's life, but I mean, what if this saves?
I'd rather them shoot a stupid person.
What if this saves 5 kids with airsoft guns playing in their yards?
Well,
or a dude standing in the front yard watering the plants with a garden hose that, the little squeeze garden hose, because that's a thing that has actually happened.
I mean, I'll say this: like, I'm kind of with Jeremy that, I'd rather see a cop shoot a stupid person that's acting stupid than a cop die because he took an extra 0.11 seconds. However, as with everything, I'm trying to think about myself here. And if a cop does that, then they're just going to riot and burn down their city. If I do that, I'm going to go to jail for like the next 20 or 30 years. So I'm a little more concerned with that. And
but you could be alive.
Yeah, but I mean, and I guess this is the question: is that 11 100ths of a second that they take to identify, and they get drastically better identification and engagement. I kind of want to see the other side of it.
But you forget, it takes a quarter. It's going to take a quarter of a second for you to recognize a threat. So if action is always faster than reaction, and you're standing there just muzzle down, waiting for them to make a move, and they make a move first, it is well within reason to say that they could outrun you, because how OODA loops work, you're behind the 8 ball at that point. You didn't make the decision.
Well, I mean, actually,
Fish brings up a good point here, though. I mean, look, it depends on the situation. If it's just a kid, like he says, tagging a wall and you're chasing after him, probably not going to warrant as much use of force as somebody who's a known armed convicted felon.
Right. They got a report that there was somebody with a gun walking around the house. Go ahead, Nick.
Someone who is suspected to have a gun. a couple of things here. No, it doesn't take a quarter of a second because according to this study, it takes less than 11/100ths of a second to identify whether it's a firearm or a cell phone. So they're identifying the threat in less than 11/100ths of a second.
Actually, less than half. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it doesn't take a quarter of a second to identify. Two, the scenario is
to identify.
No, you said to recognize a threat or identify a threat. Two, the scenario
to a threat.
Okay. Well, that's also not true because they're reacting in less than in 11/100ths of a second. But the other thing is that the scenario that was used in this study is a very narrow, very specific scenario, right? Like it was designed for a specific cause or for a specific purpose, which is to make these cops nervous and make them uncomfortable, right? To put them in a situation where a lot of people would agree that they would be justified if someone did that, because that is like a very stressful situation, very high intensity there and very quick. However, you can apply this same information or whatever you want to call this to a bunch of scenarios. So no, I don't think we should be focusing on some like why would someone turn around? I saw one of the comments. Why would somebody turn around and lunge at a cop with a cell phone? That's stupid. But people do a bunch of that like gets them shot, and it's not always intentional. And sometimes it's kids. Sometimes it's not a weapon or a firearm. There was a dude that got shot because he had a tattoo that looked like a gun tucked into his waistband. Not even a good tattoo.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid.
Yeah, that is pretty stupid. But I mean, you've got gun tattoos. I've got gun tattoos. Yeah, but
mine doesn't look. Mine doesn't look like I'm going to shoot you out of my forearm. This is not. But if I tattoo of the handle of the gun out of the waistband of my sweatpants, like I'm a cholo.
Okay,
yeah, it's kind of and I do illegal.
I don't think that guy was doing illegal, but he was walking around with his shirt off, and somebody said he had a gun.
He does.
I mean, I feel like
he doesn't because he's dead now. But but yeah, I
technically
now I would like to know.
Well, not anymore.
I would like to know more about this 11/100ths of a second. I think this is a really interesting idea here that I think could have interesting effects on maybe some policy and training.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think the really big thing is to try and see how this could potentially be valuable in other situations, not in this one narrow scenario that was set up for this study.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's an interesting result, and I would never have expected it if someone would have thrown this hypothesis at me. I don't know that it's going to change anything I'm doing right now, but man, I really hope they do more testing like this, because this is the exact kind of study that could change things.
Right. Yeah, I want to know. How much can happen in that 11/100ths of a second. You know,
exactly.
So,
I'm trying to think of, because all they say is the difference of 11/100ths of a second, less than half the average time it takes to pull the trigger of a semi-automatic handgun between shots. So they're talking about split times there. But
yes,
you go from I just don't. Where does it say that it took in that 11/100ths of a second, they had the ability to diagnose what if there was a threat or not more in that 11/100ths of a second. And nowhere does it say. I'm trying to find a place where it says, "Oh, but they couldn't get a shot off." Because I really want to try that. I want to try with sim guns or airsoft. All right, bang.
Yeah, no, I get it. They say officers who initially confronted the suspect in low ready performed significantly better. Only 30% of those officers misjudged the threat and fired at the suspect when he brandished a cell phone. So, but yes, the question is,
I don't know if that's performing better. That's performing differently. You know what I mean?
If your goal is to see if you can properly identify, then yeah, you are performing better. Right. This study isn't about how many times can the officer identify and not die. It's just how many times can the officer properly identify and make the correct shoot.
I want to see it, and nowhere in there does it say that, how does it make them ability? Does it put them behind the 8 ball more? It doesn't mention that at all.
No.
It says they think it does it because it doesn't take a lot of time, but I guarantee you that would get people killed.
That would get cops killed.
Maybe.
There are situations where I'm sure it would, and then there are situations where I think it would save a lot of lives. But I mean, like we were just saying, like now I want to know how much can happen in that 11/100ths of a second. If I go up against somebody, and we've got some sim guns or whatever, and we get put into situations where I have to figure out if they have a gun or not. In that 11/100ths of a second, am I going to die 3% of the time, but properly identify the weapon, 30%? Then that might be something to look at. I don't know. I think this is really interesting.
My life's more important to me.
I think this is really interesting information.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting information. I don't know that it's changing anything I'm doing.
Oh no.
But
especially as a civilian, like if I'm in a situation where I feel the gun needs to come out, like it's going to be pointed at somebody, probably.
But I mean, this is the kind of thing that like in 15 years, like firearms training might be completely different than it is right now because of reports like this, and then the subsequent reports that talk about what happens in that 0.11 seconds. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's very, very interesting. Yeah, I think that's actually really good. I'm going to play some music, so don't talk over it. Maybe hum along with it, Nick. Okay, this is Going Ballistic. We're going to talk real quick. Since we just talked about that, let's talk about second call defense. That 0.11 seconds as a civilian makes a pretty big difference. If you ever have to use your gun in self-defense to save your life, like what happens after that is always a question. Do you have a prosecutor that's trying to make an example out of you? Do you have police that are sympathetic to self-defense? Or, do they think that civilians shouldn't have guns? Like, these are all important things, and second call defense can help. So it literally is a self-defense insurance. If you use your firearm in self-defense, they help get you attorneys. They help pay the bills. They help pay the losses. They get you your gun back or replace it. Like, so much good stuff. Go check them out. WeLikeShooting.com/SCD and get a free month. Every single person that signs up gets a free month and a free WLS t-shirt. This is Going Ballistic. Savage, why don't you take away the first one?
Yeah, we've got a mix of some very good and some very bad late-breaking news today, guys. First, we'll start with the good before I just dump everybody and their mom off a cliff. So the good news is that Amy Coney Barrett was confirmed to the Supreme Court late Monday by a deeply divided Senate. The Republicans overpowering the Democrats to install President Donald Trump's nominee days before the election. So we got this. This is a very huge win for the 2A, and holy you're going to need it based off some news that is late breaking today. But it's very good. It's going to make it's going to make, if not a 5-4, then a 6-3 decision on next 2A cases that are going to be coming up. We've got some from California regarding assault weapon bans and the magazine bans that are moving forward in the Ninth Circuit. I believe they're going to en banc opinions, and then from there they'd be moving on to the Supreme Court. Lord knows how long that can take. It could take a couple of years, 5 years, 10 years in some cases. What was a real tragedy was that we had so many really good cases stacked up for the Supreme Court that were all passed over several months ago, but this last year, and it just really sucked seeing all those passed over. Fortunately, this will put us on more solid footing in regards to Supreme Court justices up until and if after the election, if Biden wins and they decide to pack the court, which is extremely dangerous because once you start playing that game, it doesn't end. The pendulum of power swings both ways, and the Democrats seem to only really care in the short term when it swings their way, and they lose their and get stomped on once it swings the other way. And we've definitely saw that over the last 10 years, and I really hope they don't do that because that is really going to throw this country for a loop.
I mean, I thought that I heard that they weren't going to pack the court.
I'm not putting anything past them until after the election, and we see what they do, because everybody is talk at this point.
Dude,
everybody's talk.
I'm 100% with you. I was just kidding. I just there wasn't anyone here spouting off some nonsense. So
well, they didn't say it's on the table.
They just said it's not off the table.
Yes, it's not off the table. So by power of elimination,
and literally, according to Michael T, AOC Ilhan Omar, the squad literally said expand the court just several minutes ago. So yeah, no, they definitely want to do that. It's definitely on the table.
Yeah,
but good. Yeah, Amy Coney Barrett, good. So they did confirm.
Yes, they did confirm.
Good.
She's good to go.
Okay, good. Awesome. That's great.
Yes.
I love
Very happy about that. We need it.
That's pretty impressive. What was that? 3 justices that Trump's done?
Yes, 3.
Wait, is it 3?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Kavanaugh and
Kavanaugh,
what's his name?
Barrett,
Gorsuch.
Gorsuch.
Oh, okay.
Gorsh.
Forgot about that one.
Gorsuch. Yeah.
Gorsh of the jungle.
Oh, again.
Yeah, I was thinking Goofy.
Justice Border. I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Murder.
I'll do it again.
Gorge.
I mean,
okay.
That's messed up. You guys over here making fun of Goofy murdering children.
You made me choke on my Goofy.
57 times in the chest.
Wow. Okay. Next story.
Next story. Okay, now we're going down a little bit, guys. So we got Remington. They had their bankruptcy that happened recently, and they were acquired by another company. So unfortunately, what has happened is that they decided to let go 585 employees and I guess they belong to a crew called the United Mine Workers of America, and so they're letting these guys go after this transition, and it's the local union there is filing a series of grievances because basically Remington is stiffing all those workers that they're letting go of their pensions and their benefits, which is
that's what happens when a company goes under.
I mean, maybe, but it's a pretty move at the same time.
Well,
because
wow, they don't have the money to supply it all.
Right, like they can't.
You only get benefits when the company can support those benefits. It's kind of like welfare. Normally, instead of just borrowing a bunch of money, hey, we don't have the money to give it. Maybe we should have ran it better.
Well, yeah, but like when you're an employee of a company and you have a benefits, you generally pay into those benefits as well. So a lot of that is their own money, and the company is basically taking their money and throwing it away. So they've already paid in some amount, and the company is supposed to pay in an amount, and all that money is now gone. So they're basically stealing some of these people's money.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, Savage, and you're not wrong. Yeah. Like, this sucks for those employees.
Did they not get those benefits while they were working? So I don't see how it's stealing if they got the benefits while they were working, while they were paying into it. They're not going to be paying into it. No more benefits.
Well, wait. Let's be careful how we frame this. Like, it's
because if you have a 401k, you still keep everything that's in that 401k.
Yeah. It's a 401k.
Even if
they
you're
can't
fired.
take a 401k. It's in a private account.
Yeah, if we're talking about like health insurance, then the company's not really depriving them of anything because you pay for the health insurance for
it's pensions. We're talking pensions.
Okay.
Well,
maybe you shouldn't rely on a pension from a company. You should plan for your own retirement.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like, yes, this sucks for those employees. However, like the company is basic. I mean, how many times have they declared bankruptcy? Like 10.
It's been a number of times.
Is it in Remington? Didn't they just get bought by somebody?
Yes, Remington got bought by a number.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the place in here, but my
So this part I actually didn't know was legal. It says they're refusing to pay severance, which sure. But it also says accrued vacation benefits. I didn't know you could not pay that.
I mean, there's no money. Like they
right.
And what are they going to do? Sue them? Okay.
I mean, I guess that's true. I just.
What do you mean accrued vacation benefits? You should have used it.
Yeah, they
no, they have to pay that out. Those are hours that they owe you.
Yeah.
I know. I get that. I understand that. There's no money.
Yeah,
Right.
there's no money. I get it, and it sucks.
now,
but also at the same time, maybe the new owners of Remington are just trying to get rid of unions so they can actually be competitive.
Is there a union at Remington? I thought Colt was.
These are all union workers. United Mine Workers of America, UMWA.
Mine workers? That seems like a weird.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, that's what it is. They're terminating 585 employees, members of UMWA, the United Mine Workers of America.
Ooh, this is pretty
I'd get
good.
rid of them too.
This outrageous action by Remington Outdoor Company is a slap in the face to employees who built that company into the finest firearms manufacturer in the world.
Oh, okay. That's.
I mean, first of all, it's not all the employees' fault, but also like you can't make that claim.
Do you want to really claim about their quality right now? I don't know about that.
Yeah, and apparently,
it's like
Cecil,
you know what gun manufacturers are usually the absolute. Or you know what usually makes really good gun manufacturers unions. Hey, Colt, one of the most ubiquitous things in firearms.
Colt
Union,
yeah,
garbage. I literally told my rep on the phone today. So whatever Colt's doing now that they've gone in bankruptcy and been saved a couple of times at this point. It was like, hey, if you want a Colt AR, go sign up as a stocking dealer on their website. And I went and looked, and it was like you have to agree to maintain a certain amount of Colt products to be a stocking dealer. And I'm like, but they won't even sell you a single one from the distributor unless you sign up as a stocking dealer. And I'm like, you know what? Colt, I will never stock another piece of Colt ever again. I hope they go out of business again because they're being.
Yeah. But apparently this guy who said that about the best firearms, like Cecil Roberts, apparently never heard of the R-51. Cray.
Both versions of it.
Oh, hey, real quick. Black Rhino Concealment. Who mentioned them earlier? Kukri holster? Is that what we're doing?
Sheath?
Yes.
Yeah, sheath. I bet they'll do it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, so we should all get kukris and get sheaths to put on our battle belts from Black Rhino Concealment because they do make like all kinds of custom stuff. They'll make any gun, any light, like any red dot, any comp that you have. They'll print whatever you want on it. And
hey, you want to put a can of tuna on your belt? They'll probably do it for you.
No, they totally will. We've got donut holsters, bagel holsters, taco holsters, everything. BlackRhinoConcealment.com, coupon code WLSMofo saves you money. Next story.
So, New Hampshire's Attorney General actually being somebody who does their job amazingly. I mean, when does that happen? Definitely not in Washington State. So the New Hampshire AG office says that state and local authorities cannot prevent people from bringing guns into polling places, even those located in school buildings, but they will be on alert to respond to anyone, armed or otherwise, who is interfering with someone else's ability to vote. They said that we are not able to use any of our New Hampshire election laws to prohibit a voter from entering to vote if they have a firearm, and that includes if the polling place is in a school. That comes from the Assistant Attorney General. I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
There's somebody who knows the law, respects it, and upholds it.
Yeah,
That's
that's good.
that guy. Yeah. Well done.
I
Well
mean-
done, State Attorney General of New Hampshire.
I mean, one choice or one thing doesn't make them good. I don't know what the rest of their resume says, but it is definitely good. But they're not allowed to intimidate people.
Which is bad, obviously.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. No, it's bad. Yeah, of course it's bad. Like, duh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Intimidation, guys. Be responsible.
Yeah, be responsible. Don't be dumb.
Okay, this is the late breaking as of an hour ago, and holy
Well, and hold on, like this is still breaking news. I just want to say this ahead of time.
I've got another link that I'll place in the show notes.
I know.
It's like, yeah.
So this is breaking news. Don't take this as gospel. We're going to talk about it. We're going to say what we do know, and there's so much that we don't know.
Wait, is it even breaking news? Isn't it just rumor at this point?
No,
because I have actually a statement from the Wiley.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Law firm. Okay, guys. So this first came from Military Arms Channel. I'll just kind of read this out. So the law firm of Wiley Rhine REIN, is one of the largest law firms in the firearms industry and represents a number of major manufacturers in their dealings with the BATF and regulations. This is not a joke, nor is it speculation. I'm just reading this here. This is a stark warning of things to come, and I hope it prompts you to take political action. This letter is about several things, but primarily it is something you should take very seriously because of recent actions by the ATF that will affect any owner of AR-15 pistols, AK pistols, HK pistols, etc. Yes, this means your Saint Air pistol or your Draco. That's exactly what the ATF is targeting. There are several things of importance in this email. First, it goes against the Trump administration's executive order mandating such regulatory practices cease. The BATF has led the charge, is thumbing their nose at the president and his DOJ under the leadership of Attorney General Barr. Second, any firearm that has a barrel length that is too long or a firearm that is too heavy will be considered not importable by the ATF. No more pistol versions of rifles will be importable. No more pistol versions of rifles will be importable. That's huge. Third and most important, through unwritten interpretation of regulations and through private correspondence with unspecified companies, the ATF has capriciously and arbitrarily decided that any AR pistol, AK pistol, HK pistol, etc., is any other weapon and thus subject to the NFA taxation. Any company who produces such firearm for sale in the United States and any customer or owner of such firearms are either manufacturing or in possession of illegal AOWs. This is being retroactively enforced. If you own an AR pistol, you are now a felon.
Well, hold on.
I mean, that's what it's saying.
No, they're changing their determination. They're taking weight into account. And so basically, it's a change from their previous determinations where firearms weighing over 8 pounds with 20-inch barrels and an overall length of 31.5 inches were held by their Firearms Technology Division to be handguns. Yes. The letters that the people are talking about are not publicly available, so it's impossible for any of the companies that make those things to know the full range of the determinations. But yes, basically, it seems like they are changing their evaluations for handguns, which would mean that any AR-15 Draco pistol would then be an AOW.
Which is literally against what the law states a pistol is.
Yes.
But a handgun states in the 1934 NFA is very clear they are rewriting the law by fiat. This is insane. This is why we really needed
it's
ACB.
Not insanity. The problem is, even though we have Trump as president, all those high ups in the ATF are still Obama appointees.
They are.
He never fired them.
Right, without question. And literally, that seems to be what this is. So they're going to
we're all felons now. Everyone in this chat room is a felon.
Well, not yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have any handguns really.
The sea was angry, my friends, as spoken by Spike Cohen.
Yes.
Yeah, not yet. Like, this is so early. Like, don't be freaking out and sawing your in half yet.
Well, don't break your.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that either.
All of us also had a boating accident yesterday.
No boating accidents.
Right.
No. If they literally try to pull this off and they start trying to enforce it, shoot them.
No. I mean,
Yes.
that's your opinion, but Jesus, no.
What? Why not?
Because
By fiat, they make millions of Americans felons on that, and they're actually going to come put people in jail over that.
Well,
that is literally
you first.
That is literally the boogaloo.
You first.
Okay.
I mean, that's like, first of all, Jerambe doesn't have to worry about what most people have to worry about because he's just gonna register all his as SBRs.
No, I'm not.
Okay, fair enough. But don't, the difference between yelling fire in a crowded theater is an inciting action, and that is where freedom of speech doesn't protect you. And what you just did is inciting action, and you are not protected under any laws. So just be aware of that, and don't say it on the show. Like, just be aware of what you just said.
We're not trying to kick it off, man.
Well, no. Just be aware that, like,
they're trying to, apparently.
You are criminally liable for those things that you said. Like, So just understand that. And I'm not saying that people should agree or disagree. I'm just saying you got to be aware of that.
You're free to think whatever you want.
Yeah, totally 100%. Like, people will, like, we'll see where this goes.
It's literally going to kick off the boogaloo.
I agree.
If they decide to enforce that, it would be very bad.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Jeremy. Like, what
does the ATF normally do? They wait until somebody gets reported as being dangerous and a person with guns. They go and arrest the person. They take their guns. Oh, look, suddenly he has an unregistered AOW. Well, that's however many years in prison, $250,000 fine, and you're now a felon and you can't own guns anymore. So next,
right? And this whole thing is obviously speaking about Magic: The Gathering. But yeah, dude, like, this is if this ends up being true. It would be interesting. And also, I think the part that I think is the craziest is that it's immediate.
Yeah, and retroactive.
And retroactive, yes. So meaning that...
Like, they can't even register them that fast.
No, exactly. I mean, so I think that all the stuff that's coming out so far is jumping the gun and screaming that the sky is falling. This is bad, but holy we don't know anything yet. We don't even know that this is actually there because no one has the letters. The letters are not there.
Did you guys know that Minecraft has VR support now?
No.
I actually just found that out before the show, so I think when I go home tonight, I'm going to play some VR Minecraft.
Okay.
Sounds pretty fun.
Well, you have a VR setup at home? God.
Yeah, I have the PlayStation one. It's
Dude,
okay.
I'm totally going to do VR Minecraft. I'm going to...
Yeah, it sounds fun, doesn't it?
Why aren't you guys on Star Wars Squadrons? Come on.
Because I heard it's gay.
Yeah, I heard some things.
Yeah, I heard that it's pretty...
No, it's not. It's fun. The comms aren't great, but the game's actually fun.
Is it? Okay. Well, I don't know. I haven't played it. I played... when did I play, Nick? I played some Call of Duty like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. It was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to play more Call of Duty. Calls of Duty. Oh, and they got the cool Halloween thing going on right now.
Yeah, I still haven't played that. Let's see, VSO Gun Channel in the house. What's up, dude? He said live, but I don't understand what that means.
I only I only brought up the Minecraft thing because I only found out about that like right before the show, the VR thing, and then somebody made a comment in here that all of Jeremy's comments were in Minecraft.
Yes.
Yes.
And I was like,
for legal reasons, they were all in Minecraft.
Well, he says, how is it we always play defensive? Why can't we ever go on the offensive and pull these restrictions, barrel length suppressors, et cetera, from the NFA? Because Republicans have no...
Yeah, because politicians are cowards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What Jeremy said.
It is true. Yes, I agree with that 100% without question. So this is a crazy thing, and it may be a big, big deal. But we will see. Like,
I'm an FFL. You think they would send out a letter that says, cease and desist sales of all blah, 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 blah. There's none of that. None of that.
Yet.
Yeah, so...
And this is supposed to be immediate.
So ATF reportedly believes that that its new analysis is the only way to conduct evaluations in light of the DOJ's interim final rule on improper agency guidance. A procedure rule designed to increase regulatory transparency. That position appears to run contrary to the purpose of the IFR, and so far, the agency has not put it in writing. Further, one ATF private letter from this month attempts to shield itself from DOJ's IFR by indicating the letter is not a final classification of a firearm and is not final agency action. Yeah, stay tuned, because this is going to be an interesting time.
If you have Congress critters, let them know. I mean, is this the response to the whole...
I think so.
That's got to be it.
The what?
So, I mean, if it pissed off that many congressmen before, if you wrote your congressman before about the braces before, write them again now because of the honey badger thing. Yeah, this is like way worse than just the honey badger. Everything. Everything.
You know what the gun world needs right now? More to drive panic buying.
Oh, right. Yeah, great. There goes the ammo.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of the overall plan.
There to go.
I know.
Maybe that's part of the overall plan. Now it's just going to be even worse.
Do you guys remember
I'm a 4D chest.
Yeah, they're going to make it so bad that like nobody's going to be able to get anything, and then they're going to be like banned.
Can we just run this up to the Supreme Court?
Can we what?
Like right now? Can we run it up to the Supreme Court?
No.
Right now.
Yeah, I wish. Do you guys remember that Masterpiece Arms that I was talking about that I had the 16-inch barrel on, and it was kind of... So they sent it back. This is the barrel now. So it's 3.5 inches because it extends back into the upper receiver. But the only thing that protrudes from the front of the upper is the threads. So this is actually suppressed.
Oh.
Yeah, so I've got a suppressor on there.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
But will it work?
Oh, yeah.
That's the question.
That is the question. I'm pretty excited about it, though. I got to be honest. They sent it with like a fake, I don't know, blast averter or whatever. But I was like, oh, wait a second. No, we got something for this.
That actually looks pretty tight right there.
Dude, it's going to be kind of cool, I think. I have to make it an SPR before I can put it together. So,
Do it.
Yeah, pretty dang cool. Anyway.
That's all I got to say about that.
Oh, I'm playing music. I forgot to tell you. I'm playing music. We like shooting. Okay, perfect. Now, let's see. Before we go into the next thing, Polymer 80. Like, Polymer 80, still working hard, still has their firearms, still has frames available all over at Brownells. Don't forget how much we love Polymer 80. Nick, you announced something.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Something
made
awesome.
That's made for Polymer 80s. You'll have to. Where can they find out information about that?
Facebook or Instagram
And the Facebook or Instagram to look at?
is Bus Built Systems.
Yeah, made for Polymer 80s, which
Yeah.
I actually love 1,000 times. So go check that out. Find out more about it. One other thing, WLS Deal Bro is working hard to get ammo, but apparently people aren't seeing the post on Facebook until after it's sold out. So we started a texting service. So the second he finds in-stock ammo, he sends out a mass text to the people who sign up. And all you need to do to get on that texting list for in-stock ammo is text the word ammo to 31996. And you'll get texts whenever he finds in-stock ammo. And then you can get on the bus. Not Nick's bus.
Yeah.
Not Bus Built, but then you can get on the train, the ammo train.
Yeah, you guys aren't allowed on my bus.
Jeremy, you want to read a couple reviews?
Not really. I'm pissed off now, but sure.
Why?
Oh, just ATF being the ATF.
I know, dude. It's like ridiculous. I'm speechless. I genuinely am speechless about all this that's going down right now.
Honestly, if you're an ATF agent, like, quit.
Well, that's the thing is most of the people in the firearms technology, most of the IOIs, they're gun guys. Like, they got to be just as pissed off as everyone else is.
What I get that it's just the higher up. It's literally just it's the Obama era appointees that should have gotten fired and haven't. But
No.
it's the bureaucratic of government.
You're not wrong. I think this is why Jeremy Work the Trigger says Jeremy pissed off. Shawn, why? Audience, because he's Jeremy. That's pretty good. These reviews might be why Aaron took the night off. So, Jeremy, go ahead.
Okay. Aaron Hader, 5 stars. All enemies, foreign or domestic. Aaron?
Nick, you had something to say about this.
I don't know. Maybe we should wait until we've read both of them because, they're both pretty much the same.
Okay.
Aaron?
Jeremy, go ahead.
Human Equivalent by KSC 867. 5 stars. Great show, but Aaron is human equivalent of candy corn. The worst.
That's actually the worst thing anyone's ever said about
That's
him.
pretty offensive. Both of these people misspelled Aaron.
I think
The first person spelled it Aron. The second person spelled it Arron.
oh boy.
Like, we literally call him Aaron.
It's true. We do.
Jesus, you guys, come on.
Aaron.
Yeah. Aaron. He's a pirate now. No, earlier we were talking about this. People bag on Aaron a lot. And I know that he says a lot of things
He brings it on himself.
that people disagree with. I know sometimes he often makes dumb arguments, but like people are just downright rude. I know the guys that wrote this are probably trying to have some fun. But yeah, like everywhere I go, it seems like it's constant bagging on Aaron, and it's kind of up.
See, I understand what you're saying. I do. Without question, I do. I also think that at some point, like, it's not that Aaron has counter ideas. It's not that Aaron thinks differently from the rest of us, because I actually appreciate that. And I actually think that that's a good thing, and I think that it makes this show not just an echo chamber. I am glad that Aaron believes differently than some of us. The part where I kind of have to like agree a little bit is because he's so terrible at arguing. Mm-hmm. And because even when someone makes a good point, he can't ever like grant that good point. He has to double down on wrongness. Mm-hmm. Or double down on contrarianism just to be contrary. Like if you could have a conversation with Aaron, like, okay, let me go at it this way. Aaron and I, we have conversations offline. Like, sometimes we argue in Slack, but generally Aaron and I, we message each other almost every day. And sometimes we have fantastic discussions. Mm-hmm. Because he'll make a point and I will grant his point, and I'll make a point and he'll be like, I can understand that. That makes sense. And we'll have good discussions and debates. But when we do it in this forum on the show, he just dies on hills that I can't understand. And so for us, for Nick, who is saying this, and for me, it's tough because we have those offline conversations with him where he is like, where he has good discussions and sometimes raises good points. But the listeners, they get to hear the Aaron that will just drive an issue into the ground because he doesn't want to feel picked on. And so when we come at it, like, we're like, hey, like Aaron's a human being. He's like our good friend. And yeah, sometimes he says we don't agree with, but we do have good conversations with him when we're not here. So I wish we could bring the Aaron that we know and love onto the show without feeling attacked, so that we could have actually those good conversations that make us respect him. And I understand that you guys as listeners don't get those a lot of the time.
Did you say Aaron is a human being?
Yes.
So where I'm coming from on this is like, we all have stuff that kind of annoys us, right? And like jokes, like you're not a huge fan of some of the jokes, like the or whatever.
No.
And
not a fan of
which is weird because he's such a huge fan of
right.
Yep. This is why.
And when you see that joke made by someone that you have maybe met once or never met, or maybe never even had an interaction with, and you see that comment for like the 1,000th time on Facebook about like, LOL, Shawn, like it gets kind of old, right?
Yep.
And like it's different when Jerambe says it, because you've known Jerambe for almost a decade now. And Jerambe,
has it been that long?
It's what, 8
years?
8 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've all known each other for a long time.
7 years for the show, but we've known each other for longer.
And it's
just over 6 years, actually.
And it's different, And I feel like people listen to the show and they feel like they're buddies with us, and I love that. But I also like it's kind of having strangers talk to you all the time.
Well, and
then I put myself in Aaron's shoes. And it's not just like people coming out and making like dumb jokes about Aaron being like a commie or whatever. That's the same dumb joke that you've heard a million times made at your expense. It's people coming out and saying like some pretty offensive stuff that like attacks him as a human being.
Yeah.
And I just like, that would make me feel awful.
Yeah. Dude, I'll say.
Guys, the thumb stuff is perfectly cool.
Oh yeah. Like I get it. I get why we get the we do, and most of the time it's like, oh, haha, that's just not like that funny or whatever. But yeah, it's just Aaron gets attacked on a personal level that none of the rest of us do, and it is constant.
I mean, I don't know that that's true, but the problem is
every time there's a ranch post in the cult, I feel personally attacked.
No, so like what Nick is saying is true, but like I feel like we all kind of do. But the problem is that we all generally agree with each other, and even though Aaron did not leave the show.
No, he's just out tonight.
Yeah, he just had to work. So we all get a lot of as well, but the difference is that on the show, Aaron is also in some of his ideas. He is the outsider in some of his ideas, whereas the rest of us like all kind of group together a lot of times,
right?
Because we have very similar beliefs. So not only does Aaron get it from the outside, but sometimes I think he feels like he gets it from the inside as well.
Yeah, and
that I think will put him on the defensive. And sometimes, like, dude, there was a time not too long ago when I told Aaron, I was like, dude, like, you are not who people make you out to be, so stop acting like him. And I was like, honestly, man, we could turn some of the bad feelings around just by improving the way you argue. And he and I had discussions, and we would meet before the show, and we would talk over like some of the points. But then we would go and like we would have good back and forth conversations, just like prepping for the show. And then we get on the show, and then he would just double down on some of the nonsense that he said. So I stopped. I gave up.
And we've done that after the show where I'm like, Aaron, listen to what I'm actually saying. You're making up straw men and attacking them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying blah, 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 ABC, 1, 2, 3. And he's going, no, you said XYZ. I'm like, no, that's not my point at all. Like, but yeah, you're right. On the show, he'll just double down, and you're like, nobody's talking about that. Yeah. That wasn't the point of the conversation.
But people aren't writing. Well, they are, but they're not always writing things about his debate skills or his viewpoints. Like, here's one just saying, like the reviews tonight, like he's the human equivalent of candy corn, the worst. Oh, or man. This one suggesting that he is an enemy, foreign or domestic. Like we don't have someone who logs in for every single show to say mean things about everything we say, or just show up and insult our appearance.
True. True. But here's the thing: is Aaron's going to always be on the show. Like as long as we like shooting us around, Aaron will be a part of it.
Oh yeah.
And I get it.
If we have to weekend at Bernie him, we're gonna do it.
Like I'm just trying to say, like,
he's a human being.
Yeah, have some sympathy, man.
I don't actually my cousins either, but that's a joke.
Right.
Okay.
I didn't say I wouldn't. I just said I don't.
So I feel like sometimes in the cult...
But at least I can make a joke.
That's an honest man right there. Give him a raise.
I feel like sometimes in the cult, people like start with me just to get themselves attention.
Yeah.
And that infuriates me.
Oh, yeah. No, dude, that's pretty obnoxious.
I had it with that. Like, I'm just going to start banning people because I have had it. Like, I'm not the source of attention because you're not going to get the attention you want. Like,
I just wait for people to make a bad joke about me, and then I mute them for 24 hours. I don't even respond. I just mute them.
So anyway, getting back to it, like Nick was pretty incensed. Not incensed. Like Nick was upset earlier, like about the way people talk about Aaron because he is our friend and because we do love him so much. But yeah, like, I mean, when Nick was talking about that, I was like, yes, but sometimes I understand why people get angry.
Sometimes I understand why people get angry. Yes. Yeah. So anyway, sometimes I get angry.
Anyway, those are the reviews. Go check out Franklin Armory. They've got lots of guns. They've got lots of binary triggers. And as far as I know, the ATF has not made any statements on those whatsoever. So go get them, franklinarmory.com, coupon code WLS10. Will save you money on all their binary triggers, and I recommend the 1023 trigger.
Did you click that other link on the Reddit page, Savage?
What?
Which one?
Did you click the other link on the Reddit page? There's like one big link. It's like, here's a better thing.
Yes.
It's a newsletter. It's like a newsletter sent out by Wiley, and it says client alert.
Yes.
ATF interpretive change restricts handguns.
He sent the link to us. That's what he was reading from.
It's in the chat, dude. Private chat.
Okay. But as I said, I went through and read it, and none of it says, like, as of immediately, the ATF is doing it.
Correct.
Says consideration of, so they're looking at it.
Yeah, well, when has the ATF not followed through? When does the ATF not follow through on they said they were looking at doing?
But who knows what they're doing right now? Like, I think it's a...
I know, where did I read that it said they were thinking about doing it? It said they were, it was a consideration, like they're going to look at it. Like, I don't know what that means.
They were also considering making bump stocks illegal. And
so, and actually, hold on. I actually did make a note about this, and I totally forgot to mention it, is that this is from a law firm that works with companies who are affected by decisions like these to its clients and potential clients. This is them trying to drum up business by fear-mongering. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, but let's call it what it is and acknowledge it. It is a marketing newsletter by a law firm who stands to make a ton of money if this stuff should pass.
I mean, it could be very bad if true, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past the ATF because they've done this before.
No, I agree. Just the source of this is a law firm that is trying to make money by fear mongering with clients and potential clients.
Well, if they're fear mongering and it turns out not to be true at all, they're going to lose a lot of clients. So maybe
it's
a risky move. Let's
also not forget that talking about packing the courts is also fear mongering by the Democrats as basically low key threatening the Republican lawmakers and the judicial, or I'm sorry, the different branches of different branches of government. Like, that is also fear mongering. It is also threats, but ultimately they can come true. I'm not saying that this won't come true. I'm just saying let's recognize what the source is and act accordingly. And I'm concerned about this. P.S. Without question. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think that is actually going to do it. Just a reminder, does anyone else have anything?
Nope.
No.
Join the gun-related advocacy groups such as Firearms Policy Coalition, Gun Owners of America, Second Amendment Foundation. I want to apologize for the sound on the live show, but the podcast should be just fine. And if it's not, well, I don't know. We will have a new system in place by Wednesday so that it doesn't happen anymore. Suicide prevention line, which I almost needed earlier when we were having tech issues. The number is 1-800-273-8255 because I was ready to kill Nick.
Is it still suicide at that point?
What if he was gonna Hillary Clinton me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it is suicide.
Not for any particular reason, I don't think. I think he was just thinking about doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always thinking about. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. 1-800-273-8255. That's 741-741 is the number you can text. But we're here live every week on Mondays and Wednesdays, on demand every single day. Go to welikeshooting.com/show to subscribe. And as we always say, thanks for listening. Get medical training, which I just had a class over the weekend. It was fun as hell. If you want a class, just email automated at welikeshooting.com and we'll try to put one together. I'll be in Texas at the Texas Gun Experience in November for 2 days. And that's going to be fun. So anyway, get some medical training. And as we always say, shoot straight. Music's going to play. Podcast people hear it. Live people won't hear it. It's playing right now. I promise. So the question is, show title, Master of My Meat, Sus, or Cocaine and Kukris?
Ooh, God. Cocaine and Kukris might have to be it.
Master of My Meat and Cocaine and Kukris are both really good.
See, to me, Sus is the best.
I'm just so tired of seeing sus everywhere.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Well,
I like the two things. Well, I guess I said all three of the things. So I really don't care.
Yeah, you did. I noticed that Nick's partner has been saying sus on Facebook a lot lately.
I know.
That seems pretty sus.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. I'm fading out.
I don't know. Cocaine and Kukris is pretty good.
It's pretty hilarious.
We'll decide right after I click in broadcast. Hold on one sec. Here we go. The show title, Aaron's Not That Bad.
Did you think that show was worth $1? Help the cast by visiting lovewls.com.